Oh my, that sweet, sweet sound of nigh on victory. This rig, I bought it in 2010. My kid only rode it like once. And my mates know we use it as a pit bike and blast around, do all kinds of silly stuff on it. Never once did I have the electric start work, and we always kicked it over. And I tell you, this thing, trying to kick it over, high compression, for a little 70cc floor smoker. But when it's cold, it's a bastard. So I always just run it down a hill and kick it into second gear, and she's usually good, or sometimes even third, and just jump off and just keep running until the motor goes. One time, I guess we were having a few drinky poos at the time. I forgot to turn the fucking key on, and tired myself out pretty good until I was really ticked off on myself at the time. Anyways, yeah, after going through all this bloody bull dust and resistance and frickin' voltages and charging the battery. Well, I bought a new battery for it ages ago because that one wouldn't charge anymore. We've got light testers here, 12-volt battery. That's a 12-volt system. This is totally hashed, but got the grinder out, and yeah, she's good. Clean them up a bit, and so I was able to do a few things here and there. And I had here's the CDI unit here, the coils. There's not a lot of electricals to it. Coils here, and this is the relay right here. The battery's over here. The switch system here, and there's your starter motor. And I took that off, and not via here, that's the casing, but via this side, bolts running through, and I took that off and to test it. And in fact, that battery I got over there just didn't have enough juice to get it going, but the battery for this rig, which is new, I hooked that up to it, and zoom, off she went. So she was good, so I had to sort of go through and find out where I'm getting resistance and blah blah blah. But I always suspected this switch, but I wanted to be certain. In fact, I had the starter motor just out a few seconds ago. Hang on. There we go. And so I was having a look at this. I believe, here's some of the components for the switch. I believe this switch was installed because when let's go back a bit. I bought it brand new, but it was sitting in the workshop for this bloke's bike shop for a year, and he actually bought another one of these for himself, and he had all lights and what were they called, number, rego plate in my land, and you can ride these rigs on the road. But with a car license, you can ride up to a 50cc. This being 70, you've got to have, like, I think a 125 license, something like that, something up to that. Anyways, his was all tricked out and all that, so I got a good deal on this one because it was a year old, brand new, new old stock, and it was the electric start didn't work. And he said, I don't know, just couldn't be stuff messing about with it, So anyways, I've been buggerizing around with this, Aussie mate, buggerizing around, and checking bits and pieces. And anyways, so I figured, alright, I'll trace it all back, all this grandiose Mars rover electronics. Trust me, I'm no electronic guy. Fun shit though, really, when you're figuring out, then you got your ohms resistance down here, and you got your freaking diode resistance, and if they work, it doesn't go one way, it does go another, and then you got your up to 12, 20 volts there, so check out your range, and I'm getting a good 12 and a half, 13 running through that. Anyways, I get to this point, pull these bits off to the switch, and I'm thinking, right, what the hell can I do with this switch system? And I get to this point, and I push this bugger in here, and shit, what am I going to do now? Key. You got key, and then you've got ignition switch, and when I was doing something with this ignition switch was doing something with the relay. So I was like, alright, and there we go. So the relay was working. I was thinking, right, now what the fuck? I mean, what the fruit tingle, what the hockey sticks. I mean, if that relay is working, this switch is doing something working, and I'm checking to see if it'll change anything if I turn off the actual this ignition. So I'm like, what the bloody hell now, you know? And I've come to a dead end. And then I look over here. I'm thinking, well, maybe I should just tap the starter motor, or maybe just wonk it up and down, move the bike up and down a bit. Maybe she's slightly engaged or something. Then I go, oh, hang on. And then the moment of possible victory, possibility of victory right here is like, I realise, oh shit, I didn't even hook up the positive wire. There we go, pop him on. Not easy to pull that up. And then we went, oh, maybe that's going to change something. Maybe it will. Pop that switch back in there and... Whoa! First time in history, actually, 10 minutes ago, it was the first time this bike had ever kicked over on its own, on its electrical power. Oh yeah! Now I'm going to have to rig this back up. So I put that wiring there because that bloody thing, this is the only thing stopping you from death. A mate of mine got this tree thing branch stuck in there, and that knocked that off, and that thing went woo down there, and then this unit went ping, and then the throttle went full open. And I was like, what the hell's going on? What's wrong? We were all laughing, and I hop on it. What the hell's wrong with this, And it happened to me, and I quickly just flicked off the ignition switch. And I'm thinking, if that happened to a kid, shit could be bad. So I also set up, took it off a second ago, I set up a zip tie for here so it won't pull out regardless of that. So I just put a bit of wire on there to help that. Hey, how's that for custom? You got safety koala there. I've got one on my rig too. You got to have that. Alright, now I'll just flick off I'm very pleased with that. So I've traced that back to the switch mechanism. Now I believe, very classy of me, I believe, alright, check this out, Suzuki. It's Suzuki, Japanese bike. I bought parts, for the most part, from like America. And there's some parts in the UK. What the hell is going on right here? Nick DePolo, sure. Anyways, I believe that this switch mechanism was not installed correctly during the assembly. That's my theory. Or it's just a shit design, and I'll have to try to figure something out just to keep that pressure on there. And that's all she wrote. I'm very pleased about that. Isn't it great where you're so frustrated about something, you get to a point you don't really understand it anyways. Freaking electronics. Right then. Hey, I should have been born in the time when I was supposed to be born, in the Neolithic period. Well, a few issues. I put that assembly back together. And unfortunately I ended up with a short. Now, there was a piece of plastic that's a part of a component, the switch component, that was broken. And so I had to move over this sort of bit of metal thing to sort of push it down and keep it down. But unfortunately I had a short, and I had to, luckily my local hardware store, which is a bit of a waste, but an awesome blast on this rig I'm running. That thing is that's fun, I can tell you. Especially in the cold weather, it just, it's the way it's tuned, it just loves it. Right then, so I had to go and get some 10 amp fuse, one 10 amp fuse, and got a pack of 3 for a couple of bucks. Alright, what do I think? So, see, what happens, I put it all together, ready to hit the button, and I've got a short, and so I presume some of the wiring as it's all clamped together again, it's forcing a couple of wires together and getting an electrical short across. So I'll mess about and see if I can find that bastard. Yeah, thankfully my local hardware store down the road had a it's got an automotive section. Oh, she's getting cool. That it's not exactly sunny, and I don't have any gloves. Oh, god damn! Why did God have to invent this stuff called cold? Make matters worse, some bloody rat came in and took a shit there, and I saw a mouse. The bastards! I don't know, man. I might have to set this killer koala out on him. Right, I'm gonna mess about with that and see how we go. Maybe I'll put a piece of something between some wiring, or I don't know. We'll figure something out. Right, so I can't say it's the greatest of designs. This little unit in here, the switch system down there, there's a piece of plastic on the end of it that broke off, and that piece is a little metal bracket here with a screw that's supposed to hold that all in place and push it down. Now what I did was I pushed that over a bit more because of the breakage underneath it. Instead of pulling that bit out and try to glue it all together or something, I just moved it over a tad, and what it ended up doing was just to touch this little bit of solder here. So I moved that away. There's a couple of mil in between now, and figured I'll give that a whirl. So figured prior to putting it all back together, I'll just put this bastard here and then see if when she comes together, as to whether she it'll blow the fuse again, and then I'll have to investigate some more. With this, generally with dirt bikes, you don't have this whole system. I mean, it's something a kid's bike, so that if you crash, like, you set up your levers and shit so that if you crash, they're tight enough to stay there, but if you crash, they'll move instead of break. But in this instance, they've got this little locator hole that you gotta. This week on Junkyard Dig, Dylan McCool and Mookie, what's her name? Junkyard Mook. Geez, they're fun, those guys. And that girl, yeah, they're a lot of fun. There's a whole stack of them. Thunder 289, a whole bunch of them. They fix stuff. If they can't fix it, they have a real good go at it. Anyways, so I figured I'd clamp that together just by hand, just to see if she'll go. And check this out. I've got the exhaust off, and because I was thinking, geez, why does that sound so funny? Oh, right, I've got the exhaust off. Check this out. Whoop, 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 whoop. Okay, so that's gonna work. Good. Now let's get back to it. Okay, we seem to be making some progress here. That's cool. And what I like to do is, well, this unit here, little auto, centrifugal clutch auto dealy. I even looked the part. I've even got all this gear now. Yeah, I like that unit in a way. It's obviously just because it's a kid's bike. It's got that hole in the handlebar there, and you can locate your rig, and you have a bit of motion, a bit of movement. And I only noticed that once I pulled it apart. But what I like to do, I like to put a mark straight up and down there and around there, in order to, well, you got to have a bit of play, so that your throttle is not getting binded up there. But I like to put marks there, so when I put my hand, especially if, say, take my handlebars off for whatever reasons and do all that, and I mark everything, because I'm very particular very particular about my fingering. For instance, like I'll generally use, I'm talking about, you know, the rig over there. I'll generally, I like to have a good solid front brake, and I'll generally use the single finger for my front brake. Rarely I might just come across and use just this single one here, depending on how the conditions. But as I say, I've often got marks, and I mark. Oh, there you go. You can see a mark right there, for instance. I like to have a very high clutch, and I'm quite peculiar in that way that I prefer this middle finger. This is starting to sound a bit rude. I prefer this middle finger because it's the strongest one, and a lot of people like use 2 fingers and stuff like that. Even on there, and I find you've got so much more control if the single finger, if you've got a strong enough brake, or it's set up correctly, you know, with good, you know, bleeding and all that, and brake fluid bleeding. And I like to have a very high, you know, there's some marks there, see those that white stuff there. There's even got marks for my stop switch, you know, and just everything's got to have marks. That throttle, it's all got marks. And yeah, I like to have a very high clutch. Some people have them a whole lot lower. I reckon that sucks. And so yeah, I'm very particular about that. Now, if I gave that a whack, that would move down, you know. So if you do drop it, you do that. If you do drop it, I'm very particular. If this thing even touches the ground, handlebar. Some dudes just drop their bike and cheer or whatever, and then I'll bring it back, and I'll unlock all my forks and give it a wiggle, and you hear it go ding, and back if you've crashed really decently, and then get the torque wrench out and 22 newton meters and bang bang bang, put it all together. So I'm very particular about that sort of thing. That way, whenever you get on your bike, you know everything's just supposed to be clicking. You know, if everything's a bit over the show here and a bit over the show there, and that's a bit over the show, then the whole lot's over the show, whatever over the show means. Right, let's get back to this. Yeah, progress. I put that unit back together. That's all clamped up. That key's on there. Our new fuse popped in there. We've got the ignition there, and there we go. Now I'll put the exhaust back on, a few bits and pieces. I ordered a new rear tube. I don't like changing tyres. No. Also, I'm very particular about so you got your graduation marks for when you take your tyre off and whack it back on. I'm very particular about that too. I'm way too particular in things like this, but some people say that, but I'm better than them anyways. So that way, you know, you just get it beautifully where exactly even. You're not kinked at all. I'm very particular about that sort of stuff. Right, so I like the way I like a bike set up. I'm looking at this like it's a freaking, like I'm about to join a GP race. Right, back to it. Hey, I'm loving this. I'm enjoying it. And I have no interest in going out there. I shan't be long anyways. God damn. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get my bikey jacket. There you go. Hey? My sister gave this to me. She bought it in Amsterdam in 1986. How's that? Hey? She's like, hey, do you want it? Shit, yeah. Cool bananas. I'm gonna wear my overalls and that over that. And I do have a thermal. See how tough I am? I have a thermal t-shirty thing that I'm gonna chuck onto. Right then. Okay. I'm loving this shit. All the little electrical things. I hate problems, so I would hate it. But you know, you got your testy light. Here, check this out. Isn't this rad? Yeah. Oh, what are you doing? Where are you going? What are we doing? Where are we going? What's going on right now, Joe Buddy? Right. The hair chiffer and sneef. Right. Good mood. Oh, look at that. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, there we go. Isn't that cute? Nice. Alright, so we've got our light testery thing there, and we've got our... Some of these units have got all kinds of buttony, fancy sort of things. It looks like a, you know, a 737-83 jet or whatever they call those things. And you walk in the cockpit and you've got all these bloody buttons everywhere. And I'm like, well, can't we just go like that and let off the brakes and go without all these buttony things? Anyway, so I don't understand any of that stuff. But resistance and checking diodes, which I've never done. Voltage, yeah, I'm down with that. But all this nonsense, nah. I didn't even know my car had a computery thing that you could plug stuff into. I went down the mechanic, I got some engine light. He's like, oh, it's some O2 sensor. You know, you just ping that thing off, chuck another one in. Big deal. I don't want that. I'm old school. Alright. Alright. See, I'm old school. Right, I'm going to put this thing back together. And, yeah. I'll get that tube in a few days' time. And then hum and ha as to whether I'm going to... When I'm going to pull that. But the worst thing when you're putting a tube, you're all good to go. You've got your tyre levers over there and you're just about to pop it on. You know, fuck. Oh, what the fuck? Chuck some tools around. Oh, and that's when the real Neanderthal man comes out. And now for the moment of truth. Because it's a cold motor. Now, I've never really been able to fully understand where I should be with the choke on this thing, because it's real finicky, the choke. Right, now, can I fix anything? I'll give it a go. Get your motor running. Right, now what we do, let's figure this out. Key on. Fuel is on. Pulled the choke. Ignition on. Now we do have a Kickstarter here, which I've been using every single time, or just pushing it down a hill and shit. Got to get that tube fixed. I'll work on that. Getting the tube, that'll be in the mail in about 3 days or something. Here we go. Let's press this bloody thing. Oh yeah, look at that. So I'm thinking of selling her. And I figure, because of all the hassles I've had to have trying to get it started, especially on a cold start, you know, no kid's going to be able to do that. So, you know, I figured I'll give it a whirl. Now, I do recall that I bumped up the idle a quarter of a turn a while back, because I pulled the carby apart because it was all dirty in there. I had to get a new air filter because the filter itself was just toast. I didn't lube the filter. I wanted to see how she ran first. I should still have some real good stuff in here. What have we got here? Liquid power, high tech. There we go. High tech filter oil. Okay, and there's my older one. Right on. Twin Air. That's Twin Air, so great products. I had that. There we go. See that bucket back there? You've got all the. Oh, yeah, I'm going to do that. How's that? Yes, I should do that. I just want to see how it ran tuning wise, because the tuning's basically set like the fuel air ratio, but you can adjust the idle. So that's cool. I have never done an oil change on this thing. I don't even know if I've got any. But I can just mention that to whomever if they purchase it. Yeah, I'm out. takes 10 viscosity. Shit, I haven't used fancy pants words like that. What the hell is this? Oh, liquid dirt remover. Right. Could pour that all over Joe Biden, the hair chiffer and sneef. Yeah, dirt remover. Oh, this is not political. Alright, and I lost a few subscribers because I said some political stuff. Everyone is talking about politics right now. Everyone is saying political stuff, okay? Alright, so don't blame me. Come on, man. Come on, man. Alright. I just like the way it's idling now. Well, you know, there's a choke off now. It'd be too cold to idle now, I presume. But I want to get it really sort of warm, get a bit of work to it, and then sort of tune it to where it should be. Who the hell am I talking to anyway? Oh yeah, I'm gonna put my custom safety thing. Put another. Yeah, see, I think that idle-wise still feels a bit low, but once she warms up, that'll change. But I think it should be fine. Alright, I'm gonna put another zip tie on that and file the ends of it so it's not sharp, kind of thing. Yes, I'm very particular about certain things. I want stuff done good and right. And not looking like the stuff that I do. The smell of victory. And if I keep that going, then I'll die of carbon monoxide. Oh yeah. Two-stroke smells better, to be honest. That rig's over there is a two-smoker, because you got to work harder on them. It's like a dance. Alright. It's the difference between ballet and hip-hop. Hip-hop, you can just hip-hop and don't stop, but ballet, you got to learn that shit for 50 freaking years or some shit, and stretch over here and stretch over here. When do we get to do fun stuff? Alright, now, what was I going to do again? Right, zip tie right now. Oh, I just got back. I'm filling up with, this is a godsend thing, this unit here. Usually the old school you have this pump here, and this kerosene. And this here, this bloody thing's back, Jesus Christ. Well, there he is. Oh, he's back. So, yeah, here he is, this evil cat. I swear he's not mine. He belongs to the bloke that lives up there. And he was waiting for me. Oh, geez, the head knock, that's okay, that's safe. Yeah, these things here, hit that. Electric pump, awesome. Godsend. You know, out here in the freezing cold. Just got back here with the scoop. But don't go in my place, hey man. I mean, oh, here's my little front yard, if you will. That bloke lives next door, nice bloke. And I've got my space to put all my shit, and my washing machine and all that stuff. And so, good unit. We speak in cats on her. Right, I managed to find the same stuff that he likes in these big bags, so that's good. And that thing's sorted. Right, there you go. You can have some of that. There you go. Oh, he likes this stuff. I bought the combo. I bought this other stuff in the pink bag, and he just took one sniff of it and walked away. It cost me $5, and so I ended up just giving it all to the birds. Oh, this bloke here, look at that. That's his yard. This old bloke, he's got to be in his 80s now. Does his karate exercises every morning, every night, and he's done all the preparation for when springtime comes for his next plantation. His next planting. Isn't that cool? Great bloke. Alright, well, I just got back, so I'll see if I can get some food on the cook. Very pleased with today's outcome. Was able to get that that small kids bike going with I knew it ran, but with first time ever with the electric start. It's been for 10 years. It's a 09 model, and it never had electric start. So it turns out there was this broken piece in the switch. Very, very pleased with that. The amount of times I've been pushing that bastard down a hill and whatever, like we use it as a pit bike, just so we can get up and down the hills and stuff to go and get more fuel or whatever. And yeah, no one gives a shit about this story. Alright, now he seems to be quite content. I might be able to even pat the... oh, I'm not sure. There you go. Alright, got to be very careful. Tail wagging means danger, means angry from cats. Looking into their eyes means fight time. Very different from dogs they are. Alright, so that's that. And hopefully this bastard won't come back. Yeah, if I don't feed him, I swear he's drawn blood on me loads of times. Love cats, they're really great, eh? Right.